Matthew chapter 6, verses 5 and 6 tells this. Whenever you pray, you must not to be like the hypocrites, because they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by people. I assure you, they've gotten their reward. But when you pray, go into your private room, shut your door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. This is teaching us a very important principle about prayer. Prayer has to be from the heart. That's basically what the issue is here. The prayer has to be a desire to connect with God. Prayer has to be a desire for you to know God, to understand God, to hear from God, and not to impress people. So it's a heart issue that we're dealing with here. And most of the stuff in the Bible, most of God's commands and everything have to do with dealing with the heart. If you have the right heart attitude, God's commands come natural to you, really. You're not going to murder, you're not going to do a whole bunch of other stuff if you have the right heart attitude, if you love people the way God wants you to love them. Now, we have to be careful, because you look at these verses and the first thing you can say is, well, I never need to go to prayer meeting again. I never need to pray with other people, because this is saying that we're supposed to pray in private. But that's not it at all. What it is really specifically focusing on is the heart and the reason that these guys were praying in public. It doesn't even say here that they were praying with other people in public. It just says that they would pray on the street corners in the synagogues. They may have been alone doing it. And we also have to understand that Jesus went into the Garden of Gethsemane, told his disciples to wait for him, and he went away from them and prayed in private. So there is this issue of private prayer, but there's also times when we saw them praying together. It's so important to come together to pray. You can pray about issues in the church. You can pray about issues in the world. You can pray about issues in each other's families or whatever. There's all kinds of stuff that we can pray about together, and that's important. But we have to also understand that private prayer is very, very important. We need to spend time alone with God. If you want to really get to know someone well, you spend time with them alone. You don't do it in a group. Yes, you find out things about it, but if you want to know them intimately, you want them to understand you, you want to know how they think, you spend time with them alone. And that is why it's so important to spend time with God. God wants a deeper, more intimate relationship with you. Remember, prayer is not about getting God to see things your way, but prayer is about getting you to see things God's way. It's getting to understand his mind, getting to know him better. He already knows you perfectly. That part of the relationship is taken care of. Now, I need to get to know him better. And that's why we need to spend time in prayer. We need to find a place that's quiet, that we don't hear not a lot of other people, and not a lot of distractions, because it's hard. I know I struggle mightily with this. I have the desire to pray and to pray alone, but when I get alone, then my mind goes crazy. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. What else do I have to do? What else should? And some of it's about ministry. I'm not even, it's not all bad stuff, but I get distracted, and my focus is not laser focused on God and hearing from him. So we have to fight that. I believe it's a good thing to pray against any evil spirits that would stop you from praying in private, that would distract you, because Satan doesn't want this closeness with God that we need and that we should desire. Another issue that we see here, if you're going to pray and you want people to pat you on the back and say, what a holy person you are, what a righteous person you are, look how spiritual this person is. The Bible here is very clearly, Jesus is telling us that is going to be your reward. That's it. God's not going to bless you for it. God's not going to, recognize it. This is your gotten your total, complete reward. But if you pray the right way, whether it's in public, with other people, or whether it's in private, and you pray from the heart, and you pray because you want to know God better, because you're interested in other people and helping them, God will reward you. Maybe not physically in this lifetime, but He will reward you. Your reward will come in heaven at least. So we need to really focus on spending time with God. We need to make an appointment. We need to put it on our calendar. Each and every day we should spend some time with God in private, and then see how much of a difference that really will make in your life.